Hello, dolls. Welcome. I almost said to another Thriving Thursday live because that's habit, but it's not Thursday, it's Saturday. So, welcome to this special Saturday live stream. I'm so excited that you're here with me this afternoon. This is out of the norm, but it's going to be exciting. So, if you're catching the replay, we're going to start around the 2-3 minute mark. I have a special guest today, as you can see in the title, Alicia Meeks. She is the owner of Spoiled Wives Club, and she's an author. I mean, she just has like so many amazing things going on. Her and her husband have a podcast. She's just doing all the things, and she's doing it fabulously. So I'm excited for her to share her story with us today. Before we jump in, please make sure that you check the description box because all of her information is there. And I really, as I always say with every guest speaker, I want you to support what they're doing. I really try to bring people on here that I feel passionate about what they're doing. So definitely support. Definitely, check out her social medias, her website, subscribe to the podcast, do all of the things. It's free to show love. So we would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would like to join the newsletter that I send out on the 1st and 15th-ish of every month, then that's free. Go ahead, click down below. Join that. I send you just more intimate conversations about what I'm doing, what's going on, all that kind of stuff. Things I probably wouldn't really share on social media. And last but not least, if you are a Christian single woman, anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter, but particularly if you're in Atlanta and you want to partake in outings, trips, events, etc., whether virtual or in person, then make sure you click the description box down below and join Single and Saved in the City. I had my first in-person event this month. It was a lot of fun. Because I have a lot of people throughout the US and some in Canada now, I'm definitely going to be doing monthly virtual events and monthly in-person events, one of each. So make sure you tap in. There's a newsletter for that too. And then, of course, if you are on here and you've been watching videos, or maybe it's your first video, consider joining the family. Hit that subscribe button. Again, it's free to show love and it helps me a ton. So hit subscribe, hit like, hit share, and invite people to this conversation. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, Yasmin. I'm glad that you're here. You're pumped. You're excited. I'm here for it. Hello, Layla. I'm glad that you're here too. Yes, join Single and Saved in the City. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Alicia. Like I said, she's an author. She is a podcaster. I believe, they have a YouTube channel too. She just does all the things. She has a community, like it's amazing. So I'm gonna let her come on here and introduce herself, and we're gonna do icebreakers and then jump right in. So, hello, Alicia.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon because Saturdays can be hectic. So I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, this Saturday I blacked it right on out just for you because I'm loving everything I'm seeing that you're doing. I follow your Instagram page and I'm just like, oh yeah, she's dope.
Oh, thank you. So are you. I love it. I love it. And for those who don't know, I first learned about Alicia through Crystal Lee because she makes t-shirts and I'm getting into that. And so I was listening to the masterclass that you guys did with Marty Woodard. And I just loved your spirit. I was like, I know that's right. You better ask those questions.
Oh, I was getting my questions out with mine. Yes, and I actually have that recording on my phone. I keep And it's been almost 2 years, and I keep that recorded on my phone, and I go back. He's just awesome as well. Yes,
Oh,
as
yeah.
well as Crystal. Crystal really helped me.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. She's amazing. Like, it's just so many great things. So, again, I'm just glad that you're here. So, we're going to go ahead and dive into some icebreakers. I like to start to loosen us up and get the crowd going. So, I have 4 questions, and we're going to just play a quick game of this or that. So, you could just say what's on your mind, and then I'll also share mine with you as well. So, first question, would you rather a road trip or fly?
Oh, definitely. Definitely flying. I am not a road trip chick. I literally said this morning to one of my sorority sisters. I said, girl, I'm not a road trip chick. Definitely flying.
Really? I love road trips.
I'm so sorry, girl. Have fun with that. I'm serious. I even get car sick and stuff. Like I cannot.
Oh, okay. Got you.
I cannot. I think I had enough of them as a child.
I can understand that. So, next question, would you rather sing or dance?
I wish I could sing. So I got to roll with dancing because I definitely can sing. So, but if I could sing, I would be singing just too much. So God knew not to give me a voice because baby,
That is hilarious. I love to sing and dance, but I would probably say I sing a little more. But when it comes to dancing, that's typically how I get my workouts in because I'm not a fan of pumping iron at the gym and stuff. It's just, it feels too boring. So, so next question: do you prefer Christmas or Easter?
Christmas.
Same. I love the holiday season. It's just so amazing. So,
It just goes right along with my love language. Gifts.
hmm, yeah.
But I like to give gifts as well. So I like to give good gifts and I like to receive them also.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so good. And I love just the cheer in the air and all of that. It's just a great time to show people you appreciate them. So, last question: do you prefer fruits or vegetables?
I like fruit.
I like fruit too. I can't eat it as much though because of my sugar levels, but I do love it
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I eat both. I eat a lot of vegetables and fruit, but I love fruit. Yes. Watermelon, strawberries, just all type of melons. Yes, I love fruit.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And y'all, hello, Kendall. Y'all can chime in the chat as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the interview because I already know your story is about to be all of that because I'm just loving the transformation. I didn't even know you before, but I just love what I see today. So I'm really eager to know, like, how did we get here and how are you helping other women get there? So introduce yourself to us. Who is Alicia? Where are you from? Like, as much as you're willing to share.
Oh, awesome. I'm Alicia Meeks, and I live in the suburbs of Chicago. Because I know people get ready when you say you're from Chicago and you're not in the hood. So I am from the suburbs of Chicago. We've lived in Illinois my entire life. And basically, I am a wife, a mother, a serial entrepreneur, an author, and I've had many titles that go along with me helping. So my husband and I, we were talking the other day about just who I am, and I like to help people. And in everything I do, I'm helping others. So I was previously a child protection investigator to help children. I'm currently a rehabilitation counselor. I have a master's in counseling psychology. And currently, Spoiled Wives Club is my baby and the best thing that I love right now. But I'm also a wedding and event planner. I own Signatures Celebrations by Alicia. My husband and I, we have a podcast, and it's called The Family Dynamics because we are a blended family and we share the ups and downs, the trials and triumphs of blended family. And so that's on every platform, as well as YouTube, because some people are visual. So the Family Dynamics is on YouTube, and then Spoiled Wives Club. Spoiled Wives Club was birthed out of like pain, like it's totally not what people assume that it is. Like if you hear it off the top, you're thinking like, oh, spoiled wives, these ladies. And yes, I do enjoy being spoiled, but it was birthed out of the fact that I was in a domestically violent marriage previously, and God allowed me to survived that marriage, and I divorced that person. And from there, I was a single mom for many years. I was a single mom for 13 years, and during that time I obtained my master's degree, and I got a better job and set myself and my daughter up. But during that time I also just wanted to share my story, and there came a time where I joined the Fearless Storytellers movement with Adrienne Bell. She's awesome. And so she put together a group of women that we all had stories to tell. And I told my story. And so that book is called When the Soul Cries. It is on my website, aliciameeks.com. And my story is the last story in my book. And it's called When the Soul Cries. And basically, that title says it all. Like, I had no more tears, and that's the actual title of my chapter. No more. So I was in a domestically violent marriage with the father of my daughter, and after that, I was single, celibate for 5 years, and I was just focused on me. And during that time, my daughter and myself, we went to counseling, and I told my story in this book. I explained to, everyone like what I had been through, because I often don't, many of us, we often don't look like what we've been through. And so with me telling my story, I began to help others, because I'm just giving people hope, and to know that like there's life after divorce, or you can go through something and get through it. You know what I'm saying? And come out
Yeah.
on the other side. There's many things that I've been through that would have broke others, but I'm
Mm.
built to break. My friend Kiasha always says that, but I'm not built to break. Like, I'm just
Mm.
totally not break. I just want to persevere. And so with that, after I was divorced, single and celibate, my husband came along. And when he came along and he found out all the things that I had been through, he just really wanted to pour into me. Like, he wanted to spoil me. And he did. But during that time, I noticed that, and I was talking to my one of my aunts this morning about it, but um during that time, a lot of people that knew all that I had been through, once my husband came, my current husband, his name's Kevin. Once Kevin came along and he was spoiling me and treating me so nice and so well, it was like, okay, girl, enough of that. But when it
Mm.
was the drama, it was like, oh, give me some more. What all
Mm.
else is happening? Girl, hello, what happened? Tell me more. But
Mm.
once my current husband came along and he was showering me with love and gifts, he did 40 days of 40 gifts for my 40th birthday.
Wow.
And it was not all material things. Like, one time he went live to pray for me, because
Mm.
I told him that I had never had a man pray for me other than someone in clergy. So he went live on Facebook to pray for me. So that's the way he loves me, and I love the way he.
Wow.
But people were getting tired of it. So there is
Mm.
when I decided, like, I need to get my own tribe, because it's nothing wrong with being loved this way. And many women actually wish that they can be loved this way, and spoiled with more than material things, spoiled with time, attention, love, care, loyalty, honesty. Like, spoil me with all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so I joined Crystal Lee's program. And initially it was just about making a shirt. So this is the shirt, Spoil Wives Club. And it was just about, putting together a little group and making a shirt. But now it has like really soared above anything I could have ever thought, because I'm really helping people. Like, people, by me being transparent and, telling people how I got through things. I teach cooking classes, just any aspect of being a woman, a wife, a mother, fashion, travel, just all things. I share with Spoiled Wives Club, and it's not just for women who are wives, but it's also for women who aspire to be wives. And we're being more than wives. We've been through something. We're not just kept women. We've been through something. We're educated, and now we're living our truth. And I'm frankly living my dreams, as much as God allows me to. But with me sharing my story, so many women reach out to me and just say, thank you, Alicia, you've really given me hope. Like, you got through it, so I know I can get through it. Or, how did you become a spoiled wife? Because
Mm.
you were in that abusive marriage. How did you become a spoiled wife? And so my husband one day was like, babe, you need to just write a book. So I did. I wrote Journey to Becoming a Spoiled Wife. And this book just tells about my journey of how I became a spoiled wife. And it's not like, oh, cater to this man. It was
Mm.
about getting me together. It was, hey girl, learn how to cook. Put the phone down. And
Mm.
it's saying every aspect. Go to counseling. Do the inner work. Work on you. Like, look at that person in the mirror and get her together. Because if I'm
Mm.
not together, I couldn't be together for anybody else, my children, my husband, or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that's so true. Like, before I dive in more, I just noticed that people were saying the sound is a little staticky. And y'all, we were having so many technical difficulties getting ready for this live. we were hearing my echo and all that. So let me know if you're still hearing the static. I'm not hearing anything, so just let me know, and let me know if it's affecting the sound. But while you guys are letting me know that, real quick, Yasmin said, "Congrats on the impact of Spoiled Wives Club, and yes to the words of affirmation and everything." Kendall said that, but you said so many things within what you just told us about yourself. One, the fact that you said you were celibate and focused on like God and yourself for 5 years. And that's like, it's easy to say those things in conversation, but when you really think about like taking that time away from the dating scene or whatever, and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna work on me and I'm gonna be whole for 5 years, that's dedication. Like a lot of people would not be able to withstand that and really be focused on themselves. And then another thing that you said that resonated so much with me is when you had the drama in your life, everybody was there listening and soaking it in. But then when things started turning around for the better, it was like, oh, nah, like we don't want to hear that. And I think it's so unfortunate that a lot of times it's embraced, like the chaos and the toxicity and the hurt is embraced. And I feel like that comes from a place of other people being broken and other people like wanting to hear, okay, maybe someone's going through it just like me, or someone is even worse off than me. And so they find their own self-worth in someone else's like demise. But then when you turn around and it's like, things are going well, then all of a sudden it's like, we don't want to hear that. Like, okay, he's loving you great. That's good for you. I still got my own problems. Ain't nobody trying to hear all of that. And that's really sad, particularly when you're talking about groups of women relying on each other and confiding in each other. It's like we should be celebrating, because even though I might be going through my own stuff, I can look at you and say, you know what, that's really inspiring. And maybe that can inspire me to get myself together. So they're saying the static good gone now? It's good?
I see someone saying it was on my end, but I don't really know. My microphone, it even has a muffle on it. Is it okay now? Like, was it a moment, or
Yeah, is it good now, y'all? Because that's really odd. So
it's super odd.
because I don't want her to dive into her story and then it's a bunch of static. So before we do that, let me go through some of the comments while they're telling us. So Yasmin said, I tell Sean all the time I could live under a bridge. I feel like I'm on cloud nine as long as those words of affirmation are coming. Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge words of affirmation person. That and acts of service too, which, more so, that's more so someone like being there for you in a time of need. But if I get that affirmation, I'm good. And so just even to think, like you said, it wasn't just material gifts, but it was like he prayed for you and he covered you. And to be honest, I think I probably only maybe had one guy that I dated pray for me, but that's not the norm. And sadly, it should be the norm. Like, we should be getting that on the regular. So
absolutely. And kind of when I realized that was my husband, because one day he wasn't my husband. We were engaged, and we were I believe at my house. He had his house, I had my house. But I believe he spent the night in my house, and he used to leave early because he was a truck driver. And I heard him leave, like in my peripheral. I heard him get up to leave. But then I heard talk, like I was hearing someone talking. And I'm like, what is that I'm hearing? And I'm laying there asleep. Like it's probably like 3 in the morning because he was going to work. And I went to get up, and he had my hand. He was on his knees on the side of my bed praying for me before. I just love him. Oh, I love you, Boopy, if you're watching. But but that's when I knew. I was like, oh girl, this another level right here. Like he was praying for me before he left. Like I heard, like, you know how when people pray and you could hear them? Like he was praying but quietly, but I heard something and I went to get up and he had my hand and he was knelt on the side of my bed, and I was just like, this is my husband.
Wow. I know that's right. Like, yes, that is those little things that really make a difference. And to be rooted in that way, to know that you're going to before God on my behalf is just like, man, like, whew, I don't know about y'all, but that's sexy. So,
Exactly. I mean, and nothing is perfect under God, period. So no one in the world has a perfect nothing. But and we share that. We share that the trials and the tribulations that we go through on our on our podcast, The Family Dynamics, and I share with Spoiled Wives Club. I have a private group on Facebook as well where we get a little more intimate. But of course, Spoiled Wives Club is on every social media platform. But in that private group, we're answering questions or sometimes people put anonymous questions up, that they're going through something, and we share a little more in there. I have to do better with going live in that private group, but we're my husband and I, we have no children together, but we have three children. I came into the marriage with my daughter, and he came into the marriage with our two sons. Our two oldest children, they're adults. My daughter is 20, our oldest son is 22, and our youngest son, we have custody of him, and
Okay.
he lives in our home, and he's 15. So through our union, we brought our families together, and blending our family has been the hardest aspect of
Mm.
our marriage. And that's why we share it on Family Dynamics, because when we were going through that process trying to get my husband custody, well, we didn't even ask for custody. He was trying to get visitation with our son, because sometimes women are bitter, and they withhold visitation. And at that time, I was a child advocate. And I told him, like, you don't have to deal with this. And sometimes men don't know, like, they don't have to deal with certain things. And I'm like, you have rights. Like, you can just totally get you some visitation time.
Mhm.
And so when we were going to court for that, the judge shocked us all and gave custody to my husband. And so
Wow.
my son has been living with us since he was 8 years old, and he's 15 now. And through this time, it was a challenge. It has been a challenge. It is a challenge. Blending our family, because we were all raised differently, and with the kids, they have our family, our household, and how we do things, and then they have their alternative parents' household and how they do things. And sometimes that looks very different.
Mhm.
So in that, we have to, deal with different things, and we share that. We share that with others, because while we were going through that, we wish there was someone being as transparent as we are, to share, different things that, help. It helps you when you're going through something to know. When I was going through the domestically violent marriage, everybody else's marriage looked so perfect. Nobody
Mm.
mentioning how they were going through anything, and then once I told my story, then, oh yeah, girl, me too. Then it
Wow.
was the Me Too movement, and that's fine. But when I was going through, I might have been able to get through it a little better if someone else was as transparent. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I wish there was someone out there that was being that transparent, or a little transparent, so then I could know, like, okay, it's not just your marriage. It's not
Yeah.
just because
Exactly.
that can weigh on you when you think, because then you'll beat yourself up and think it's you. You know what I'm saying?
And like the Bible says, like we overcome by the word of our testimony. So you never know what opening your mouth and being real can do, especially in this world with perfection through social media and relationship goals and all that. And not saying everybody's marriage or relationship is a farce, but we need to see the balance. We need to understand the trials people go through, overcome, how it affected them, the lessons they learned along the way, so that we can now navigate better if we're going through something like that. And I think it also just keeps us realistic, for when we meet these milestones in life, like marriage, or having a blended family or whatever. So that way you're not going into it like it's just going to be rainbows and butterflies and all, lovey dovey and dandy and just all that. Like, yes, you'll have those great moments, but there's always obstacles in life. And like you said, nothing is perfect under God. So, with let's go back a little bit. So when you met your ex-husband, were you like in school? Like, how did you guys meet? And then how did what was the first sign of the domestic violence, and then how did it escalate?
Young and dumb. That's the best way I put it. Young and dumb. So, I met him. I was a cheerleader in high school, and he was a basketball player. So I met him at Denny's. to be honest. After all of the games, people would go to Denny's, and I met him at Denny's, and that was just that in high school, and nothing came of it. And I went away to college, and after a few years, I was a pharmacy technician. And his uncle, and I tell his uncle whenever I run into him, I'm like, you are because his uncle came to the pharmacy to get his medication, and he was like, "Oh, girl, you looking good. Look at you. I gotta tell my nephew. Oh my God." And so he was like, "Give me your number. I'm giving it to my nephew." Oh, yes, yes, yes. And I'm like, okay. So I gave his uncle my information, and we connected like that, young and dumb. I was like 20. And so I graduated from college with my bachelor's, and after graduation, I wanted to go to Clark, Atlanta, to get my master's degree. And he was like, "No, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to go." And I was like, "Well," he was like, "I think we should move in together." And I was like, "Oh no, I was raised Catholic." And I was like, "Oh no, my family is not having that." So I was like, "The only way we could live together is if we were married." And he was like, "Okay, let's get married." Look at that. That's the proposal. Okay, let's get married. So we went to the courthouse. No ring, no nothing. We went to the courthouse and we got married just like that. So I graduated January because I graduated early. And we were married April 27th of that year. And so, yeah, young and dumb. And so I just think, I know for a fact it wasn't love today. It was, I don't know what it was. It wasn't love, it was lust, it was infatuation, but it was not love. And I can say that with a whole heart because when you look at First Corinthians and you read what love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't keep a record of wrongs, and you know what I'm saying? Like all of
Mm-hmm.
those definitions of what love is, that
Yeah.
wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And but that's the 44-year-old me talking today. And I'm thankful and I pray my daughter doesn't get married at such a young age. I don't know why my parents allowed it. I mean, I probably was gonna be headstrong and do what I wanted to do anyway, but I really wish I didn't get married at such a young age. But I did.
Mm.
And it was what it was. And so shortly thereafter we built the house at 23 years old, and we were doing good professionally. He was a barber and ended up owning his barber shop, and things like that, and it was fine. But when did the domestic violence start? I would say it wasn't very early into the relationship. I just feel like A, we should have never got married, and B, once we began to prosper, I've always had things. My parents took great care of me. Um, Not to say his parents didn't, but he was raised by a single mom, and when he began to acquire things, vehicles and building your house and able to acquire more things, I feel like he wanted to be in.
Oh, you froze on us. I don't know if you can still hear us. Hear me, that is. You froze.
Okay.
Okay, now we're good.
Okay. And so basically, I feel like when he began to acquire more things, he wanted to cheat, basically, if I
Mm.
put it bluntly. And then I was standing in the way of him cheating. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm.
serial cheater. And so he wanted to cheat. And I think with that came frustration because like he was tied to me and wanted to cheat and wanted, and then of course if I know you're cheating, I'm addressing issues. And then it would start over the littlest things like arguing for the keys of the car, you know
Wow.
because he want to go wherever he want to go. I mean, I just remember it was just so toxic, Lord. It was one year we went to the comedy show. There's a comedy show on New Year's Eve. And so we went to the comedy show, stayed at the hotel overnight for 2 nights. But when we got back, I guess his side chick was upset and he left for a week.
What?
You're married. Like, how do you be married and you leave for a whole week?
Right.
And he left like to please this woman. I guess she was mad because, of course, I don't know if it was MySpace or what, some type of way she knew, and maybe I posted it on MySpace or something. I don't know, but she was upset, and so to please her, he left. He left for a whole
Wow.
week.
That is absolutely crazy.
And,
Like,
and,
what?
and by that time, we had been through so much. As you will read in my book, one time he choked me until I blacked out, and
Wow.
another time his sister brought one of the girlfriends to my home, and they rung the doorbell, and we live far out, so no one's popping up. And when the doorbell rang, it wasn't no ring doorbell, so you could see who it was. And I went to, well, he got up to go to the door, and he never, like, I never heard like who it was. And so when I came to see who it was, I didn't see him. So I think he went out of the garage to go tell them to leave because
Mm.
obviously it was this other girl. But when I came out of the room with my little baby, she was little, a hip baby, and I had my baby on my hip, and I came to see like where is he, because he just left. So maybe he opened the door, and when he saw the girl on the porch, he went out with them, like trying to get her to leave or whatever. And I didn't see him. So then when I came out of the room and I didn't see him, I went to the door. And when I opened the door, the girl was on my porch with him and his sister. And I'm not really clear on everything that happened, but I know she stole on me. She punched me in my face.
What?
She punched me in my face while I was holding my baby.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just in shock, and I'm just like, oh my God. And so some type of way she like bogarted her way into my house, like, cause I'm opening the door, she punched me and came on in, and I'm holding my baby, and I'm telling him like, get this bitch out my house
Right.
and everything, and she's grabbing his penis.
What?
And she's like, this is my DICK.
Oh my
This,
goodness.
it was dramatic. It was crazy. All in the book. It's in the book. I'm trying to tell you.
No.
And so the girl was grabbing his penis, saying that was her penis and this and that. And it was just crazy. And so some type of way he got her out. My sister-in-law at that time, she was there. And it was just a mess. And so I don't know what to say, girl. It was just a whole mess. And so those are just a few snippets of the mess that I went through with him. And I stayed because I felt like, you're married, you go through things
Mm.
and everything. But after a while, I do believe that it was after he stayed out for that week. I went to church, and when I went to church, the pastor was talking about grace and mercy. And
Mm.
he was saying that God will let somebody walk over you, but he will not allow them to wipe their feet.
Mm.
And that stuck with me like, oh wow. And so in that moment I heard God talking to me like, okay, he walking over you, but I'm not gonna let him wipe his feet. And he's gonna need my grace and mercy to get through this.
Wow.
You continue to do what you're supposed to do. So, I realized that the marriage was not working out, and I began to save my money, because we both were making good money, and I would save my money because I was like, I gotta go. I can't deal with this. Like my daughter's watching me, like
Yeah.
she's watching me deal with this. Like, no, you deserve better. And what cleared it up for me, because I was raised Catholic, I began to like wonder, like, what does God think about divorce? Because I want to please Him. As you can see, I didn't shack up. I didn't have a baby out of wedlock. My daughter wasn't nowhere around. I didn't get married because I was pregnant. I got married because I didn't want to shack up. And so God knew my heart, and that's what made it so hard for me, because I'm like, God, like, I'm trying to do the right thing, and then
Oh, it froze again. It's probably gonna come back in a second. Yo, I apologize. We've really been going through it today with the technical difficulties. Come on, Lord. Come on.
what happened?
Okay, we're good. It cut off right when you said you want to please him.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to please God. So I began looking into like how God views divorce and things like that. And basically, if someone is committing adultery, that's an out for divorce. And he definitely was committing adultery. It was out of control. And I do see
Yeah.
question about, did you continue to create space? Absolutely. Um,
Hmm.
as it relates to my daughter, there's not a time in which he can say that I ever told him no or kept her from him. Now, if we had things going on, he could not just, hello, I want my daughter today, give her to me now. No.
Right.
But as long as we didn't have anything going on, she could always go with him. And an example of that is he did go months without seeing my daughter, and he was not paying child support, to the point where I'm getting child support now and my daughter's 20, because
Mm.
he owes me arrearages. But a point of that is, when I started dating my husband, my daughter was with me at all times, and
Mm.
like, where is this girl's father? Because
Yeah.
you always have your daughter like, where's her father? And I was like, he doesn't get her that much, but whenever he asks for her, I give her to him. And so it was months that my husband never saw my daughter's father. And then when my daughter had a program at school, her dad came, and my husband was my boyfriend. He was with me. And when my daughter's father saw him, oh baby, the next week, I want my daughter. Bring me my daughter next week. And my husband was like, "You're gonna give her to him?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's not gonna do nothing to her. Whenever he want her, he can have her." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
but she was a busy child because she was in all-star cheer and everything. But I would never withhold, ever.
Mm.
And it's not a time that him or his family can say that they asked me for her and I didn't make provision. And I did that on purpose because my parents were divorced.
Mm.
I lived it as a child, and my mom didn't keep me from my dad. And I wasn't going to keep my daughter from her father. Although I will say there's things that I wish were different, because sometimes the influence of that alternative parent on your child's life can have negative effects.
Yeah.
But I wanted her to learn for herself who he is and who he was and who he continues to be. And now at 20, I can say that I feel that she's made her own decision on her relationship with her dad and how she views him. And it's not
Yeah.
tainted by me.
And I can agree with that. I honestly can. Like for me, I'm a single mom and it's an absentee situation. But I always said the same. Like if he were to ever come back and be like, hey, like I want to see my son, whatever, whatever, I would never withhold him. Now, like you said, it's not gonna be like a okay, I'm here, boom, like, make concessions out of the clear blue sky. Like there's definitely gotta be things in place, but I would never withhold my son from meeting his dad if he wanted to meet him and whatnot. And I think that's important because even going back to your earlier point about just us as women sometimes being bitter and using the kids as pawns and stuff. And I've seen that in my family with various family members and just them going back and forth with ex-wives and, the mothers of their children and stuff. And I'm just like, it really doesn't have to be this complicated or this traumatic or toxic because the kids are not your material possession to use in like a wager, like it's either you're going to co-parent or figure something out, like get some custody agreements through the court, something, because it's ridiculous, like how people do that and they use it to their own advantage because it's for them, for their bitterness, and it's not for the betterment of the child. And that's really, really just a problem in my opinion. And so as you were talking though, I was thinking, I was like, so you leave your ex-husband, you're amicable whenever, he's willing to see your daughter and so on and so forth. So what led you to necessarily say, I'm going to take some time to be celibate and not date? Like, was that like I'm going to take 5 years, or was it just, okay, we're going to see, like, how did that happen?
It wasn't a decision that I consciously made. It's just it was life. Life was life, and I was a single mom, and I didn't have time to date, and I didn't want my daughter to see me. Well, it's not even in me to be promiscuous. I never was. And so number one, I wanted to be a great example to my daughter, and I didn't want to have different men in and out, and I made a choice to have her. My daughter is definitely a wanted child. She was not born as an accident. I actually had to go to the doctor to become pregnant with her because I had been on birth control all my life. And when it came time where her dad asked me, like, I want to have a baby. And I was like, oh, I don't want to have a baby. My daughter knows this. I didn't want to have a baby at that time. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, you're married. You can give him a baby. And he was begging me to have her. And so I was actually shocked when he didn't pay child support because you begged me for this girl.
Yeah.
So once he was begging me to have a baby, we went to the doctor and talked to the doctor about why I wasn't getting pregnant and all of that. And so once I became pregnant with her, I'm a very responsible person. And so after the divorce, I was overcompensating for his absence. And I felt bad because I chose him as a father for her. I felt bad about that. So basically, after the divorce, I vowed to take care of my child. And, that's what I was doing. And in that, I realized that my bachelor's degree wasn't getting it. And I was going to need more money because he wasn't helping me financially, and I needed more income. So I went to get my master's degree. So in being a single mom, working a full-time job, and going to school, I didn't have time for men. Like I just didn't. And it just 1 year led to 2 years, led to 3 years. And that's just what happened. It was just life. Life was life, and then I didn't have time for men because I didn't want to have all of these different people around my daughter. And so the way I ended up being able to date my husband is because we knew each other since we were children. And my daughter had seen my husband in many family settings because my husband would be with my cousin, and he would be places that we were. So my daughter was familiar with him. Gotcha. And, so he started coming around, and she just thought he was, just another person, like a family member, like, because she had seen him before. So it wasn't awkward or anything. And so with that, I felt comfortable with him being around my daughter, because being a child protection investigator, I saw the worst of the worst with people abusing children and doing things to children. So I was definitely very overprotective of my child. But with my husband being a familiar face, I felt comfortable with having him in my presence with my daughter. But even with that, because of our schedule, my husband and I, we never even had a date until we were engaged.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I say date, I mean like a date out. So
yeah.
What he would do is, my husband, when we began to talk in August of 2013, we began talking, dating. Well, trying to see what was going to happen. He was a truck driver. I was a social worker. And at that time, I worked in the field. So while I'd be driving places, I would be talking to him. And at some point, we made the conscious decision that we were going to see each other every day. So
Wow.
every single day for the first several months, we saw each other every single day. But it was on my terms. It was while my daughter was at cheer, we might grab something to eat while my daughter sleep. So when she went to bed at 9 o'clock, I'm a grown up. I can stay up to 11 or 12. So he would come over through my garage and we'll go downstairs because you would come through the garage through the laundry room and it was the basement. And we would go downstairs and watch a movie or stay on the first level of the home and watch a movie and watch TV, Netflix and chill, whatever. But we would see each other every single day for the first several months. But it wasn't a legit date. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with us seeing and talking to each other every single day, that sped up our courting time. Usually people see each other on the weekends or what have you, but we were seeing each other every single day. We were making time to see each other. So that sped up our courting and so we started talking in August. In October, we made it official that we were going to be, monogamous to each other. And so October we made it official to be in a serious relationship, and then February he proposed to me, and in March we were married.
Wow. So from August to March,
Yeah.
from just talking to, that's amazing. So like what encouraged you guys or motivated you to say we're going to see each other every single day? Because nowadays, like, I'm the type of person that I feel like there's no reason why we can't at least touch base every day, especially with all this technology. But the conversation's always coming up online where it's like, oh well, you don't need to see someone every day, you don't need to talk to someone every day. Everyone's different, but as for me in my house, I need to touch base with you every day. So what led you to say like we're gonna see each other? Because that's like commitment, not just talk, but we're going to see each other. And I think that's so beautiful. Like, what encouraged you to do that?
Because I didn't have time for a date. I didn't have time. My daughter again wasn't really with her father like that. Remember, until he seen at the school function. So she was with me. I did have the help of my mom when I needed her, but I really didn't lean on my mom a whole lot because we were on one side of town, she was on another. It was a time in which we lived in another state. We lived in Indiana. And
Oh, okay.
but nevertheless, we made that decision because initially when he was trying to date me, he was like, so when are you free? When can I take you out or whatever? And I'm like, let's see, maybe in 2 to 3 weeks, let me look at my calendar. And at that time I used to use Cozy app.
Oh,
And
okay.
my Cozy, and I was just like, yeah, it doesn't look like, because she was an all-star cheerleader, so we were traveling and everything. Like at one time I even paid for him to come with me to a cheer
That's
competition in
awesome.
Florida because I don't have time. Want to come? We already getting an apartment, like just come. Like, I don't know. This is the way you could spend time with me. Come with me to be with
Yeah.
my daughter. So the conversations were just so intriguing. That's what made me like my husband. He had the greatest conversations, and we would talk on the phone. And so that's when we decided, like, we're gonna see each other every day. Like, you're not doing nothing when you get off of work. I'm going to take
Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm going to cheer practice or something for my daughter. And while I'm waiting for her, she'll be in practice for at least 2 hours. I then we'll sit in the car and talk or go grab some Starbucks. But it wasn't an official date until after
Yeah.
engaged.
I think that speaks volumes for intentionality because, like Yasmin said, she did the same with her husband. They saw each other every day and were engaged in 5 months. But, for some people, they might need space. And I definitely get that. But I definitely feel like whether you need, an everyday conversation and seeing each other or every other day, whatever, the intentionality is at the heart of it. The fact that you guys were like serious, you're like, we're gonna make this work. And where there's a will, there's a way. And let that be a message to all my other fellow single ladies out there. And if you've been watching my channel, I've been saying this till I'm blue in the face, but men make time for what they want to make time for, period. So it's like, if you if he ain't making time for you, sis, wash your hands of it, pack up yourself and your dignity, and keep it moving, because you're worthy of that intentionality. You shouldn't have to chase him down for conversation. You shouldn't have to chase him down for time. Like, that don't even make sense. It literally doesn't make sense.
Well,
and this is back in 9 years ago, you're saying. So, you know?
Yeah, and that's what my husband always says. Like, he doesn't get what men talk about when, you know, it's all this long engagement. You know, like, initially, no, I didn't think that I was gonna be married in the next 3 weeks. But immediately after becoming engaged, we started premarital counseling, because both of us were spiritual, and, you know, so we were going to premarital counseling. And our pastor at that time, we went to the first session, and he was like, "So, I mean, what we doing? Like, why y'all not getting married?" And I'm like, "Well, he just proposed." And he was like, "Yeah, but I mean, don't y'all want all the blessings? What are y'all waiting for? Like, y'all want to have this big, you know, the theatrical show? Like, what is it? Why aren't you getting married?" And my husband's like, "Well, I'm ready." I wouldn't have asked her if I wasn't ready.
I know that's right.
And so then I had to check myself, and I'm like, "Well, why did you say yes if you're not ready?" So we went home and we talked about it, and my husband was like, I think we should get married. And I was like, "Well, if we get married, like, this your first marriage, don't you want a wedding?" And he was like, "Yeah, we can have that later." And I was like, "Okay." So we got married in our pastor's office with just us mothers, just me, him, his mother, and my mother. And we did not tell anyone we were married for 6 months. And that's because people tried to ruin my proposal.
What?
And yes, girl, that's how I told you, these people, they couldn't handle it. They did not.
They literally tried to ruin a proposal?
They tried to ruin my proposal, like, to tell me that he was finna propose to me. Like, clearly, we
my goodness.
Conversations, like, you know, when you're dating, you kind of have conversations about marriage and your future and what y'all would do. But I didn't know he was gonna propose to me, especially it was quick. So I didn't know he was gonna propose to me. And so someone called me like the week before the proposal, you know, now with hindsight being 2020, someone contacted me and was like, "Oh, so y'all getting this marriage plans together?" And I was like, "What?"
Right.
Like, I was lost. And I thought they were talking about my cousin's wedding.
Oh.
Oh, we must be talking about we going to the wedding or whatever. And so I was like, but then it just was weird. And so I told him, and I was like, "Yeah, this person said we're getting these marriage plans together." And he knew he was about to propose. He knew he was planning. So he was like, "I'll be back." And he left. And come to find out, when he left, he called my best friend at the time and was going off like, "You know what? That's it. Nobody's being at the proposal. Man. I can't believe they're ruining for her." And so then he started kicking people out of who was going to be at the proposal. And I knew nothing of it. I found all of this out afterwards. And so then people were upset that he no longer was allowing them to come to the proposal. And the night of the proposal, I'm ecstatic. I'm over the moon. And I called the first person to say, "Guess what? I'm engaged." And that person was so dry.
Oh my God.
Because they were mad because he kicked them out of the proposal. But I didn't kick you out.
Right.
And so I called the first person. Well, no, the first person I called was my grandmother, and she was happy. But then I called the first person outside of my granny, and that person was so dry, like, "Oh, good.
That's the worst.
Congratulations." Or whatever. And so after that, I was like, "You know what? I'm not letting nobody steal my joy."
I know that's right.
I'm not calling nobody else. I'm about to enjoy this. Yeah. I've been waiting on this. I deserve this. So after that, I made a post on Facebook that said, I said yes or something. And then I turned my phone off. So then everybody's mad because I didn't tell them. But they didn't know what I just experienced and the reason
Yeah.
why I was intentional, that being intentional again, intentional about my joy. I was not going to allow anyone to steal my joy. So I made that post, put it on Facebook, and left it. Of course, when I turned my phone back on, it was 50,000 messages, and everything. But that's the way I had to do it because it wasn't about anyone but me. So when he suggested that we keep our marriage private, he was like, my mom was like, but this is a good thing. You should tell people. And he was like, no, they ruined her proposal for her. I want her to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And say our first 6 months of our marriage was the best time of our marriage. Because once people, it's like when you have a baby. Everybody giving you unsolicited advice, hold the neck up, feed them cereal,
Girl.
cereal in the bottle, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Put some, just paper rub on the back, and just stuff. And so, that was just really the best time of our marriage, those first 6 months where it was just him and I. Our mothers were apart, but it was just him and I. And then we later, a year later, had a Cancun wedding. And that was a ceremony where others were invited to join us. So.
Man, that's beautiful. And so Yasmin and you have like kind of parallel stories, which I love. But she said that's one of the things she loved about her husband, Sean. She was so unaccustomed to people being available, but her man was working third shift and sacrificed sleep to spend time with her. And then she also said, again, ladies, intentional. And I'm speaking to myself too, because when you single for a while, sometimes you just need that reminder. So I'm not preaching at you. I'm just sister to sister. I'm here with you in the trenches. But Yasmin also said we had 12 people at our wedding in our backyard. That's so beautiful. I love that. So I get it. No regrets to keeping it small. And when I was younger, I used to say, oh, I want a big wedding and all. But the older I get, it's like my circle's gotten smaller. Honestly, God's done a lot of the weeding. He's like, okay, that person's gone. So I haven't had to do much. But at this point, I would not have a big wedding. Like that would be very, very rare for me to do. I just want something small and intimate because it goes back to that sentiment we said earlier where people, they join in your pain, but they don't want to join in your pleasure and your joy. And it's just like, I can only imagine how you felt calling that person and they're just so dry. It's just like deflating.
It kind of broke my heart because I'm just like, damn, because I know what happened and what transpired, and that speaks volumes to that person because you knew I didn't kick you out the proposal. So why couldn't you be happy for me in that moment? And that's where Spoiled Wives Club came about. I just felt like I needed my tribe of women who are happy to be married. Yes, girl, let me see your ring. Okay. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with being happy about what our husbands are doing with and for us.
Yes.
It's nothing wrong with watching other women happy. I was happy to help plan my best friend at the time wedding. I was happy to, plan her bridal shower. I didn't have a man in sight. And if we were to be transparent and honest, at her rehearsal, by me being the maid of honor, I had to walk down by myself. And when I was walking down at the rehearsal, I had to go to the bathroom because I was crying. Because I had never walked down the aisle. Remember the first marriage, I was in the courthouse. I was married at the courthouse in the first marriage, and I never walked down the aisle. And so to walk down that aisle, that had me emotional. And I went in the bathroom, and I'm like, girl, get it together. It's about her. But I was so emotional because I didn't have a man in sight. And I didn't think I would ever get married again. But
and that's a good point.
I was happy for her.
That's a good point because I've been single now for almost 7 years. February will be 7 years. I had a short relationship in there, but honestly, that barely even counts, child. But needless to say, I remember in my early 20s, that's the time when early to mid 20s, when everyone for the most part is pretty much getting married, starting their families or whatever. And I used to be so upset because it's like mine was bitterness that stemmed from self-pity, because it was just like, God, like, here I am serving you, trying to do the right things, getting my life together. Like, I literally had everything together to a point where all I needed was a husband, the kids, the house, and the white picket fence. And it's like, I could not find, or that man could not find me. I kept running across duds. And I would be bitter because it's like, why? Like, what is going on? And it wasn't until I really came to terms with the journey that God has me on, and my singleness, which even led to me starting Single Staying in the City and other things I've done along the way, where I was like, I can truly celebrate. And it took me years to get to that point. Almost, I mean, honestly, until I was almost 30 to get to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm good. Like, God's got me. No good thing will he withhold from me. So if he has me single in this moment and for this season, even though it's longer than I thought it would be, it's for a reason. And I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to celebrate my, friends that are wives or engaged or whatever. I be giving tips out here. I be like sharing them, like, this is how you should do it. Like, I've actually, to pat myself on the back, I've actually put together some relationships. So, I think I have a gift for other people with helping with that, but not for me, not yet, at least. But it's just like, it's so beautiful to know that, like, you can have that small intimate space and be celebrated, because really it's not the quantity, it's the quality of people. And I really want people standing next to me in my victorious seasons that truly are happy for me. I don't want people that are like, oh yeah, I guess, or they're smiling, but behind the scenes they're wishing you bad and stuff. Like, and unfortunately, like Layla said, a lot of people just want to gossip, so they feed off of that. It's like, oh, you're going through this, you're going through that. Okay, like, yes. They want to see it. They want to see that demise and that downfall. So you had said earlier, though, that Spoiled Wives Club started out of pain. So when did you start that, before or after you met Kevin?
Oh, it definitely came after, but it was the pain of my mom had died.
Oh.
My mom died in July of 2019. And in December of 2019, I just was still really messed up, and I would be up all night. And I don't know, some type of way I saw Crystal Lee's program, and I was like, I want to do t-shirts. I want to sell something online. But it was the pain of my mom being deceased that caused me to be up all night to even see Crystal Lee. And I was like, oh, I'm going to join this group. And so once I joined the group, I'm like, what type of shirt am I going to come up with? And then I knew that I had always wanted to start a group for women and wives. So I was like, it was Spoiled Wives Club, because we spoiled, And so that's how it was created. And then Crystal Lee, with her program and her modules, you would have to, once you pay that membership to be a part of it, blah blah blah, you're supposed to go through her modules. Well, with me being a mom and a wife at the time, I didn't have all day to do these modules, and I was like, oh, it's gonna take me forever to get through this. So I literally called off of work, and I did 8 hours to get through all of Crystal Lee's modules. And I was like, yeah, let me get through this. And I treated it as work, as school. I took off work and I did her modules, and I did everything she said to do. And boom, by January, Spoiled Wives Club was up and running. And I had my website, spoiledwivesclub.com, and all my apparel. I had the logo and all of that. So that's how Spoiled Wives Club began. And during that process of doing the t-shirts, Crystal Lee was like, oh, this can be big, like a sorority, like it can be big. And so I was just like, yeah, let me try to make it big. And so, it's getting there. We have a lot of followers. I wish we had a little more engagement. But it's getting there. So in due time.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, social media engagement is so up and down. Like, one season it's great, next season it's like, eh. But I'm definitely learning a thing or two myself. So I love everything that you're doing. I love the fact that, you are experiencing true love, and in every way, not just the romance, but the spoiling, the spiritual side of it. Like, just all of it. I think every woman that desires marriage desires that kind of thing. So I'm glad that you're sharing your knowledge and, you're reaching back and helping other women. So tell us more about Spoiled Wives Club. Like, what are the type of women that I know because I heard on the masterclass, but for those that don't know, what are the type of women that you like or that you're like catering to and marketing to and so on and so forth?
I cater to women who are into the things that I'm into. I like nice things, but I also like to budget. I go to the Goodwill. I like DIY projects. I like to travel, and I like glitz and glam, and like doing stuff to your house. I wanted a collage wall, so like just doing all types of things. I like women who you can like nice things and you can also have a great husband that provides for you. But I like independent women.
Mm.
Women who are, like I'm an independent woman, but I also need my husband for what I need him for. But I like women who are educated, who are doing things with themselves, that support other women. Empowered women empower women. And I would say, Kiasha, I see you put Kiasha Hill's name. That's one of my great friends, and she just recently did a conference, a women's conference. So you guys can check her out too. And I was a part of her women's conference, and it was called Breaking You Barriers, and basically about breaking down some of the barriers that we all have. We all have some sort of a barrier. And so that's what I'm catering to. I'm catering to women and that want to look into self and self improve, and I want to help you, and I want to show you me. I want to show you as I get through this grief journey with my mom's death. I want to show you me. I want to show you the ups and downs of marriages and relationships and parenting. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you the world as I travel, and maybe you may want to go there too. We were recently talking, and you know it's social media. We need to be social.
Yes.
There's people that's, oh no, I don't be on there like that, as if it makes you more mature than the next person, or oh no, I don't take pictures of my food, but you're looking at other people's pages that
Right.
of their food, so you go to that restaurant. Why don't you give back? We're
Exactly.
giving to the socialness of social media. You
Yeah.
and I take pictures of my food and I post it.
Yeah.
Go to the places that I go. You know what I'm saying? So social media. Why are you here just looking and lurking? You
Right.
know, so that's why I'm here. I'm here for anybody to contact me. If you want to send me a DM, you having an issue. There was one lady DM me. I said, "You got time to talk?"
Yeah.
Because people need that, and I'm here for it. I'm here to help. Over the pandemic, people's relationships and marriages were tested because a lot of people didn't know how to cook. And
Listen.
people know I know how to cook for real, for real. My mom was born in New Orleans, and
Oh, okay.
my family is from New Orleans, and so I know how to cook. So I started doing cooking classes. And I started showing people how to cook. Like, I'm here, whatever y'all want me to do. And, somebody had contacted me, oh, Alicia, tell me about this recipe. I said, you know what, I'm going to do a class.
Yeah.
Because, let me show you. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Like, we need more of that. Like, let's get out of that crabs in a barrel type thing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here to help. And
Yes.
it's a blessing to be a blessing. So
Yes.
me being a blessing to others, God continues to bless me.
Mm-hmm.
It's many times I see people giving in many mighty ways that I wish I was able to. And sometimes my prayer is, God bless me, because I want to do stuff like that. I want to send somebody to college. I want to be able to
Mm.
just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like giving away. I do a lot of giveaways on the social media, on Facebook, in my private group. I do a lot of giveaways because I'm happy they're there. I'm
Yeah.
happy y'all chose to join me. I mean, I think it's like 600 and something people in that group, but that's 600 people that said, hey, let me see
Yeah.
what's up to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's amazing. And honestly, too, I really believe and know, because the word says this too, that it's God's design for the wiser, more mature, more experienced women to turn back and help others, you know? And so we've all been through something. We all have experienced something. So you might as well share and let people know. And y'all, Alicia is really social because, like, I told y'all I found her through Crystal Lee's masterclass. So I was like, all the people during the Q&A session that stuck out to me, I was like, let me follow them on social media so I can get inspired trying to do this stuff, because this is my first time ever doing something like this. And so I was like, ooh, love the brand, love it. And I'm just minding my business, putting up the flyers for YouTube. And she was like, girl, I'm a DV survivor too. I was like, really? I was like, we should get you on this month, but I know it's last minute. She was like, look, I'm free. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. It's the kinetic, like, energy between us that I just love. And the fact that you're a go-getter, and the fact that you're so, like, just you're so real. You don't, a lot of people, like you said, they have those barriers up and they try to act like, well, I'm more important or more mature or whatever, but you're just like, hey, like, let's link up, let's do this, I love that. So y'all connect with her. Go ahead and just share your books with us again, and your social media pages, so that people can connect with you.
Well, I'm everywhere as Spoiled Wives Club. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spoiled Wives Club. I'm also on YouTube, Spoiled Wives Club. You can go to either spoiledwivesclub.com to enter your email so that way you can stay up on our events, because like we have coming up a private screening of a movie that I can't state, but y'all kind of know what it is. It's coming up. Because
Yes.
if I state it, Disney has an issue with me having a private screening of it.
Mm.
So I can't say what it is, but there's a private screening and it's a couples night. And that's coming up on November the 12th. And we do like ice cream socials. My husband and I will soon, and I don't know exactly when, but we want to do the Meet the Meeks marriage retreat.
Yes.
I want to help people, and then just with women, I would do wine tasting with the wives at Cooper's Hawk. I've done that, So if you put in your email address on my website, you can receive notifications about the events that we will and that we do have. The books, When the Soul Cries, and Journey to Becoming a Spoiled Wife. They're both on AliciaMeeks.com or on SpoiledWivesClub.com. The links are in the bio of my Instagram. On YouTube, I have just recently began sharing a journey. It's my tummy tuck journey. I recently got a tummy tuck. So it's me season.
I
And
know that's right.
I'm sharing my journey along the way. So
I know that's
what
right.
that's what's going on, and I'm just helping in every area where I feel I'm able, wherever God puts me, because it's so many facets of me. I will be honest, and I sometimes be like, okay, God, which way you want me to go?
Right.
Sometimes people want me to be a interior decorator. Sometimes people, want they makeup. Like, I don't know, God, what are you giving me so many gifts and talents? You know what
I
I'm
know.
so
Yeah, I know my audience can relate to that, because I, as well as a lot of them, are multi-passionate that way. So, we're doing all of the things, and it's hard to put ourselves in one category and say, oh, I'm this. I'm like, I'm just a serial entrepreneur, serial creative. Like, your girl can do many things, many of us can do it. So I'm just like, God, wherever you take me there. But Layla, real quick, she asked a question. Um, if you don't mind answering it, is your daughter aware of how her father treated you and the abuse you dealt with? And if so, how is her relationship with her father now?
well, before the book came out, now that speaks to the fact that I didn't bash him, because prior to the book coming out, like, my daughter was clueless. I shielded her from domestic violence. She was little when the things were going on, and I absolutely shielded her from domestic violence, so she had no clue. So when I wrote the book, I was having a sip and sign, which was my book signing, and of course she was going to be there. And I said, well, you know what? I don't want her to hear this during the VIP question and answer session. Let's read the book with her. So my husband and I, we sat down at the kitchen table and we read the entire my chapter in the book, because that book is a compilation book with other people. This one, Journey to Becoming a Spoiled Wife, that's solely just me. But this one is a compilation book with other women's stories too. And so my chapter, I read it out loud with her, and she was upset, and it was emotional for both of us, but we got through it, and she said, I want to call him. I said, because she's 20 now, so I think she had to be 17 or 18 when I wrote the book, because I wrote the book in 2018. Yeah, because my mom was at my sipping sign, so I'm happy about that. But anyway, she was like, I want to call him. I want to ask him about this. I said, it's not one lie being told, baby. Go right ahead. It's not one lie in the book. And so, if you want to talk to him, you can talk to him, because I can't answer the whys, of why this happened or why that happened. But you feel free to talk to your dad. Talk to him. So I think it made her feel a way. And I'm not even sure what their conversation was about, because I haven't even, probed her for that. Whatever she's willing to tell me, she tells me. But I didn't, like probe her to find out, did you talk to him and what did he say? Because I don't even care what he had to say. But I feel like that was a aspect of their relationship that, may have required a little more work on both of their behalf. That's a reciprocal relationship that I'm not involved in. But she loves her dad, and of course she should. That's her father. He has never abused her in any way. And they have what they have. He's not as active as I would like him to be in her life, but they have whatever they have. They have something.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Your question, and I'm open. If you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I have no problem answering. And I see Kiasha said she loved me season.
I know,
girl. It's and it's not selfish. Self-care is not selfish.
come on,
Period.
help us.
It just was moments, after having a baby and trying to work out, I had all this loose skin hanging. I'm like, let me take care of me, because I sacrificed.
Okay.
I'm pleased with me. And I know that. I have given a lot of myself to others as well as my family, but also others outside of my family. And so at this juncture, while I'm not neglecting others, I am prioritizing me. I am.
Mm-hmm. And that's so important. Like, as women, as moms, as business owners, wives, the whole nine, we give a lot of ourselves day in and day out to so many directions. And it's like, if you're not pouring into yourself, if you're not being poured into, it's gonna show. Like, you gotta be taking care of you. Because if I'm not good, nothing else is going to be good that comes out of me. My energy, my focus, my mood, all that stuff is just going to be off. So, it's definitely you time, you season. And I'm here for it. I'm in a me season too, I would say. I'm here for it. Like, and I love the fact that you said, you are more so marketing to not just wives, but women that aspire to be that type of spoiled wife, because I feel like a lot of times within the women's group, there is a split. So it's like you have the wives over here, you got the single women over there. Both of them are looking at each other with either disgust, jealousy, or just like, man, you don't know how lucky you are, because I wish I was still, And so to be able to bridge the gap and for us to be able to do things together is a beautiful thing that we definitely need more of. So I love that you're doing that, and that you mentioned independent women. I can't stress that enough. That's how I was raised personally. Like, yes, you definitely should be spoiled, treated well, all that, but you should never be in a position where literally that other person, that man is your lifeline. Like, without him, you have nothing, no skill sets, no way to get anything done. That's not a good position to be in. So I absolutely love that you mentioned that. Like I said, I was raised that way, but I think a lot of women too are just coming to that realization in their own journeys in life. So that's definitely important. Yasmin said, we deserve what we so beautifully give to everyone else. Layla said, I'm big on self-care. Ain't nobody coming between me and my self-care. And she's like, oh, that's on period. Okay.
I'm
Yes.
serious. We should. I mean, it's about you. I mean, like you just said, if you're not good for you, how can you be good for anyone else? And it's the same thing. I'm sure we've all heard about putting the oxygen mask on self first. If you're in a plane and it's going down, they always say put the oxygen mask on you first. How can you help someone else if you're not okay?
Mm-hmm.
I help you out of the plane? How can I help you through your pain or struggle or what you're going through if I'm not okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how my husband be getting people together when it comes to me. But my husband, he'll put my daughter together like, hold on, your mother deserves whatever she's doing. You
I know
know,
that's right.
my wife feel guilty for finally doing something for her.
Okay. I know that's right. Yasmin said, pouring into her purpose is her form of self-care. She doesn't play about what God created her to do. Kiasha said, and I feel you on that, Yasmin, too. Kiasha said, I can't wait to donate this food for the science. Listen, let me get myself together, okay? Get my bag up, and I'm going to be right there doing what I got to do. So I feel you on that. And then working out is how Layla gets hers. She gets dolled up despite working from home. All of that matters. All of that definitely matters. So, I just want to thank you again for coming on here. And I thank you guys for joining me on a Saturday. I might have to do these little pop-ups a little more often because this was fun. But before we leave, do you have any final words of like encouragement or insight or wisdom for the ladies?
I'll just say, I've said it. I just said it just a moment ago. But self care is not selfish. Take care of you. Anything you want to do, life is short. We know that. And I just feel like with the death of my mom, that really highlighted how short life really is, with her not being sick or anything. And you never know. We don't know how much time we have. So life really is the dash. You know what I'm saying? And when I first heard that saying about life being the dash, which is, you was born 1978, the dash, and
Mm,
death date. Life is there in that dash. Live.
mm,
We want to see you living. We want to see you. My old pastor used to do this. Take pictures and post them and live because
yes.
you have to live. You have to live. You have to live. Like live your life. Do the things you want to do. Take the trip. Buy
Yeah,
the
okay.
purse.
Listen.
Put on the shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Make the choice. I'm not saying let's just be out here YOLO and no type of responsibility, but things that are in your reach. It's so many things that you can do that cost nothing. My husband and I had a date night in my basement. I put up, and it's a video of it on my page. I decorated the basement. Of course, I decorate a little better than the average because I'm a wedding and event planner, but you can do it right in your basement. Have a date in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like so many things. You can go to the park. There's a waterfall right near my home. You
Oh,
can just go
wow.
chill out with your spouse or just even by yourself. Take a walk. All of those things are important. And I too, I was working out. I had a personal trainer prior to me getting a tummy tuck, but it's just some stuff that working out ain't gonna do. It's the skin is hanging. Working out will never retighten and give elasticity to that skin. So yes, whatever it is though, it don't have to be a tummy tuck. It could be getting your nails done, your hair done, your lashes, or a massage, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And those are some things that are in my book about things to do for you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And for anyone who wants anything, type in the code BLESSED, all capital letters, BLESSED, on my website, spoilwivesclub.com, and you will have free shipping today only.
Yes. So y'all need to run to that website. Don't walk, run and grab whatever you can get. Like she has so many amazing things. So thank you again, Yasmin. I'm glad you enjoyed these lives. I really try to bring women on here that, like I said, I'm passionate about what they do and that I resonate with because I don't want to just be presenting y'all with anybody. Like I take this seriously. So, and if you would like to be a guest on the show or the channel, feel free to send me an email, dailydell@gmail.com, exactly how it's spelled on my channel. Yasmin, agree with you, live by the purse. She said, get the G-Wagon, okay? Like, do whatever.
That part right there, that G-Wagon. And I'm just going to say, I thank you for having me. I thank you for, taking the time out and having me, and even just your platform as a whole. And I may suggest, because we have to do this too, we have to, pour into others. I suggest Kiasha be on your show. She have a book, and her book, see, that's what I'm saying, it just comes naturally.
Yes.
But Kiasha has a book.
No, I literally was thinking as you were talking about her conference, I was like, I gotta reach out to her on Instagram. Like, I was thinking that.
She's gonna put in the chat, she's gonna put the name of her book. It's 30 days. And she has several books, but I'm just talking about this one book, and it's about loving on yourself. Kiasha, go ahead and put the title to your book in the chat. And so it's about 30 days, and she talks about ways in which you can love on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
I definitely
we're talking about the necessity of self-care. So I vote for Kiasha to be
yes. Great minds think alike, because I literally was thinking that. And put your IG too, Kiasha, because after this I'm gonna send you a DM while it's fresh in my mind. And Layla, real quick, she wanted to know if the discount, and I'm guessing shipping, matters if if you only live in the US, because she's in Canada.
It should work.
Okay, so it should work, Layla.
Layla, if something happened and it doesn't, then send me a DM and we'll talk about it. I'll give you a code to take off the shipping, but it should work. I mean, I haven't had any problem. No one has said anything about it to me.
Okay, so y'all run again. Just give them the websites real quick, but run to the website.
Mm-hmm.
So
the website is www.spoiledwivesclub.com or AliciaMeeks.com. My first and last name, ALICIA, and my last name is M as in Mary, EEKS.com. So either one, you can go on and you'll see the opportunity for for the purchase, and just put in the promo code BLESSED, all capital letters.
Perfect. So thanks again. I think Kiasha might have left, but either way, I'm gonna hit you up on IG for her information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was gonna try to send her a text, but I don't want to get us off. But Kiasha, I can't remember her handle, but I'll have her contact you directly.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm not going to keep you any longer. You've been a trooper, hour and a half, but this has been so great. I can't wait to have you back on here to just share more gems and, collaborate any kind of way. And you definitely got some new supporters. So I'm excited. This has been so great. Thank you for all your knowledge. And just thank you for all the work that you do in general. Like, you really are just a gem. And, I can't stress that enough.
She's on there. There we go. Yeah, Kiasha, perfect. Missed us saying it, but I was telling her that I vote to have you on.
Yes. So, and we were thinking the same thing. So I'm gonna be hitting you up from my official Rondelle Martin page. So just keep an eye out in your spam. But yes, so Yasmin's mad. Yasmin, thank you for your community, because I have a singles group, so married women are not allowed right now. So she's mad, but we need our own little circle sometimes.
Y'all do.
Well, I know she's playing, because we know each other for a while now. But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go for real, because I said this like 5 times already. So
it's good when it keeps flowing. But okay, thank you for having me.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye. All right, y'all. Thanks again for joining in. I'm going to keep the collabs coming, as you know. Kiasha, again, I'll be reaching out to you. But thanks for just staying on here on a Saturday. I know y'all could be anywhere, but I really appreciate you being here. So make sure, again, that you like this video, you share it out, and go to her website, AliciaMeeks.com or SpoiledWivesClub.com. Today only. So if you catch this after, I think today's the 29th. Sorry, the code's not going to work. So on October 29th, code BLESS, all caps. But other than that, check the description box. I will see you guys next week. I don't know quite what the title is, but just keep an eye out on my YouTube channel. I'll see y'all. Be safe out there this weekend. You know, a lot's going on with Halloween, so just be safe, drive safe, watch your surroundings, and I will see y'all next week. Bye. Love y'all.